I had a really bad wedding flower experience.
I pitched Lauren the idea one day.
I really was immediately thinking like craft store flowers for the wedding, and I was like, I don't know about this.
And from there, Something Borrowed Blooms was born.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Lakin, and we're the founders of Something Borrowed Blooms.
How did we meet? Well, we're first cousins.
So we've been knowing each other forever, basically.
Our dads are brothers, and we grew up together, so we've always been super close. So the moment that sparked Something Borrowed Blooms initially was the fact that I had a really bad wedding flower experience, and that stuck with me for a while. And then years later,
yeah, we were both inspired by Rent the Runway and really loved the circular economy. So it's when her problem and that inspiration kind of collided and came together. And from there, Something Borrowed Blooms was born. So I pitched Lauren the idea one day on my afternoon commute home. And Lauren's reaction was not what I expected it to be.
Yeah. At first I was like, wait, like silk flowers? And I was like, I really was immediately thinking like craft store flowers for the wedding. And I was like, I don't know about this. Like, cause I know planning a wedding, you want everything to be beautiful and perfect. And I just wasn't sure that that was possible.
Yeah.
But then
the challenge was thinking beyond what we knew silk flowers were like at that time and at that moment, and knowing that we could introduce something that was better and really reshape the way people thought about silk flowers and how to choose their flowers for their wedding. I think the goal was for it to be this big, but how this feels, in the process of it coming to life, I think was surreal and still feels that way at times, but this was the goal.
I feel like the answer is like yes and no. Like there were moments where it was like, maybe it'll become this thing. But when we really thought about it, I was like, no, this is going to be a big business one day. We both had aspirations and very clear visions of what this could be. Being where we are today is really affirming because a lot of those things have come reality. I also think it's really fun that I still think there's so much potential and so much more growth ahead of us that there's a whole nother phase of what Something Borrowed Blooms could be down the road. Okay, so those early days are so fun, interesting, confusing. I think all the emotions when you plan to start a business and then you start talking about starting a business because you don't really have much to show for it. So it's a lot of reactions from different people surrounding you.
Some are good, some are bad.
100%. And that used to really bother me. And then finally, I had this aha moment where I realized polarizing feedback was actually a sign that we were doing something right.
Yeah. The goal was to revolutionize the industry. You can't revolutionize something without getting some wild reactions because otherwise you're just doing something that's pretty normal.
So we had everything from people saying oh my God, this is brilliant. Why didn't I think of this? To people really
that's terrible. Who would ever do that?
Yeah.
It's your wedding day.
Yeah. All the negative Nancy's. But
here we are.
I was at home at my house with two babies, working from my little at-home office, literally in a little closet, in between nap schedules, trying to figure out website forms and stuff like that.
It was very scrappy.
Yeah.
So I was working a full-time job and I'd come home in the afternoon, put my kids to sleep, and then late at night work from my spare bedroom where I was putting together flowers. So it was, a second job.
Yeah. It was crazy, but fun. I feel like we were pretty confident in the fact that it could become a business pretty early on. One of our earliest benchmarks that we kind of set for ourselves, we were like, okay, if we could do 12 weddings a month, this would be a viable business. And then we quickly got there. And then we were like, okay, we can really.
Yeah. And I think it was probably maybe 12 to 18 months and where the business became big enough to where we were officially having to move out that Lauren's house and into something more official. So we got our first warehouse / office space. Yeah. And that was official business.
Yeah. We took that risk and paid off.
So how did we come up with our first products and collection? I think we started with colors, which is very similar to what we do today. So we identified the top kind of color stories that were relevant at the time. Yeah. And then from there, we developed collections around those color stories and we gave them names.
We had to talk about them. And so we couldn't be oh, the white collection and the red collection. We wanted to talk about them they were
people,
part of the team. Yeah. And so we started naming them after people in our lives at that point whose personalities kind of matched the vibe of the collection. So that was really fun. We still have some of those in place today is like Audrey, Cameron, Taylor, Kinsley. With time, that's kind of evolved.
So behind every name, though, is either a person or a personality that we're mimicking.
So the name's very intentional and thoughtful about what that name portrays.